What's up, guys? I'm DK, and you're watching Pro Wrestling What If, the series where I look at the different what if scenarios as terms of the world that we call professional wrestling. John Cena had become the face of the WWE in the mid-2000s when he won his first WWE Championship from JBL at WrestleMania 21. He would go on to defend it once more against JBL at Judgment Day, followed by multiple matches with Chris Jericho and Kurt Angle throughout the rest of 2005. To kick off 2006, he would defend the WWE Championship inside the Elimination Chamber structure at New Year's Revolution and retain the title, only for Vince McMahon to have John Cena defend it again as Edge would cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase the first time that this would ever be done, resulting in Edge being successful with that cash-in, becoming the brand new WWE Champion and ending John Cena's first reign at 280 days. Edge's reign wouldn't last long as John Cena would win the WWE Championship back from him at Royal Rumble 2006, that was 20 days later. For the next 9 months, Edge and John Cena would have an on and off rivalry between each other that at one point even cost John Cena the WWE Championship at One Night Stand in his match against Rob Van Dam. They would have a match at SummerSlam 2006 in Boston, Massachusetts, which is considered hometown territory for John Cena, with Edge retaining the WWE Championship, ending off the rivalry with a TLC match at Unforgiven 2006 in Edge's hometown of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, where John Cena won his third WWE Championship. One big part of that was a stipulation placed that if John Cena wasn't able to defeat Edge, then he'd be forced to leave Monday Night Raw and join Friday Night Smackdown. Many of us have wondered over the years what would have happened if John Cena did lose at Unforgiven 2006 and was no longer a member of the Raw roster. So that's going to be the topic of today's video. We're going to be discussing what if John Cena was forced to leave Raw in 2006. Now, for this video, we'll be going on a pay-per-view to pay-per-view basis, discussing what would happen with both Monday Night Raw and Friday Night Smackdown had this occur, following both the paths of John Cena and the path of Edge as he's still holding the WWE Championship in this timeline. And if you end up enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that like button, share this to all your friends, subscribe, and press the notification bell for when future episodes get released, and leave a comment down below about today's topic or suggesting a future topic for an episode of Pro Wrestling What If. Kicking off with the first pay-per-view being the Smackdown exclusive No Mercy, where John Cena would compete in a fatal four-way match for the World Heavyweight Championship against Batista, Bobby Lashley, and the reigning champion King Booker. Now, the fatal four-way match did happen in the real timeline with almost everyone that was listed besides Finlay, although it made sense to include Finlay into the match with his association with King Booker as a part of the King's Court. I just can't imagine a world where John Cena doesn't get inserted into the World Heavyweight Championship scene upon joining the SmackDown roster. So if there's anyone from that fatal four-way match in the real timeline that would have gotten cut in favor of John Cena, it would have been Finlay. One thing that was a positive with Finlay being a part of the match was to be placed as the fall guy to protect the babyfaces. However, I do think he would still interfere to help out King Booker, likely costing Batista the match as he's been feuding with Booker since his return from injury. If anyone would be taking the fall in this match with the amount of star power involved, it would have been King Booker, which guarantees a new champion. That new champion being John Cena, as I can't imagine, whether taking the fall or not, that he would have lost 3 pay-per-views in a row at this point in his career. Up next would be the Raw exclusive pay-per-view Cyber Sunday, where John Cena would compete in the Champions of Champions triple threat match against ECW champion Big Show and the now WWE champion Edge. With Edge being the WWE champion in this timeline, he would still carry his rendition of the spinner title with the Rated R Superstar logo. Something that also changes is the fact that Rated RKO never forms as a team due to Edge still being in the championship picture, meaning that we don't end up getting the rivalry the team had with DX, which also changes something I'll discuss later on. Once again, we had the Champions of Champions triple threat match in the real timeline, but John Cena was the WWE champion and King Booker was in it as the World Heavyweight champion. With the event being based on fan voting, one of the champions had to defend their title in the match, which fans voted the World Heavyweight Championship. I think one of the reasons fans voted for the World Heavyweight Championship was based on the person that held it and fans wanting that disadvantage for the champion that could result in them losing it. So with Edge in this match instead of King Booker, I think fans would have actually voted for the WWE Championship this time around to be defended, plus who even cared about the ECW Championship here? Depending on the championship that gets voted is who ends up winning here, but regardless, it's going to be the champion retaining their title in this match. Up next is the dual-branded pay-per-view Survivor Series, where John Cena would defend the World Heavyweight Championship against King Booker. If the championship that got voted at Cyber Sunday would have been the WWE Championship, then I think King Booker would have interfered and cost John Cena the match to set up this match for Survivor Series. Even if it wasn't and it was the World Heavyweight Championship, then rematch clauses for the former champion was still a thing back in 2006. With Batista not competing for the title like he did in the real timeline, he would have taken John Cena's spot in the Survivor Series elimination match against Team Big Show, who had members of the King's Court involved that he was already feuding with. That specific match had teams with captains that were either the WWE Champion or the ECW World Champion, but with Edge and Big Show being heel champions, that dynamic wouldn't have worked out as well as Cena and Big Show. So I think that keeping the same exact Survivor Series elimination match that Edge was in against Team DX would have made the most sense, especially since Shawn Michaels and Triple H at that point would most likely have been the next contenders to Edge's WWE Championship. John Cena would have retained the World Heavyweight Championship, ending the rivalry between the two and allowing John Cena to defend the title against new challengers, or so we think. Next up is the Smackdown exclusive pay-per-view Armageddon, where John Cena would team up with Batista against King Booker and Finlay in a tag team match. Now this match had actually taken place in the real timeline at this event, but the context to how we get to this is a bit different in this timeline. On the December 1st, 2006 episode of Smackdown, Batista retained the World Heavyweight Championship in a triple threat match against King Booker and Finlay. Later that night, General Manager Teddy Long announced a tag team match for Armageddon where Batista got to pick a partner of his choosing, with Batista choosing WWE Champion John Cena from Raw, making it the first time that two world champions teamed up for a match. In this timeline, John Cena would have defended the World Heavyweight Championship against Batista in their first singles match against each other. Unfortunately, the match would end in a no contest as King Booker and Finlay would interfere and attack them both. Instead of having a rematch at Armageddon, John Cena and Batista would agree to team up against King Booker and Finlay and put an end to them once and for all. John Cena and Batista would still win the match just like in the real timeline, and we would officially see the end of the King's Court. Also, in case you were wondering, I did skip the ECW December to Dismember pay-per-view since it has nothing to do with either timelines. Shoutout goes to Jackson Weingart, Jada Sanchez, Fox Starkiller, Lola Pines, Hayden Saravo, Skulchin, The Real Samuel Randall 1990, Quiet Ninja Riot, Mr. Randomizer, and Wesley Conklin. And the reason that they ended up getting a shoutout is because they joined our YouTube channel membership, which only cost $1.99 a month. Not only do you get the shoutout, but you do get lots of other perks, including early access to every single video and shorts that we produce on this channel. So definitely consider joining our YouTube channel membership. It will be greatly appreciated and will go a long way of helping out this channel a lot. So definitely consider it, but let's get right back to the video. Kicking off 2007 with the Raw exclusive pay-per-view New Year's Revolution, where I think Edge would have defended the WWE Championship against Shawn Michaels. One thing that is disappointing about this timeline would be that due to John Cena being on Smackdown and not the WWE Champion, we would miss out on the John Cena-Umaga rivalry that included that crazy last man standing match a few weeks later at Royal Rumble. When it came to Edge in the real timeline, he was a part of Rated RKO with Randy Orton as the World Tag Team Champions. They would defend the World Tag Team Championships against Shawn Michaels and Triple H and would retain. This was the match that saw Triple H tear his quadricep and would result in him missing out on being on the card for WrestleMania 23. Now that the tag team match doesn't occur in this timeline, Triple H doesn't get injured and would be able to be a part of WrestleMania. With Shawn Michaels and Edge in a title match here, I would imagine Triple H and Randy Orton would have their own singles match against each other in some sort of way. This would determine the next challenger for the WWE Championship to face either Shawn Michaels or Edge at the following pay-per-view. Triple H and Edge would win their respective matches, and we would have the WWE Championship match set for Royal Rumble 2007. Up next is the dual-branded pay-per-view Royal Rumble, where I think John Cena would have defended the World Heavyweight Championship against Batista. Now that the King's Court rivalry had concluded, we can finally get back on track for a Batista-Cena match to happen on a pay-per-view. This would end up being the first singles match between the two on pay-per-view instead of a year and a half later at SummerSlam 2008. Surprisingly enough, just like that match, I actually do think that Batista would have won and become the new World Heavyweight Champion in this case, still fulfilling his promise he made in that backstage segment at WrestleMania 22 to win back the title he never lost by the time WrestleMania 23 rolls around. When it comes to the Triple H Edge match for the WWE Championship, Edge would retain and walk into WrestleMania 23 as the champion. Now, what you're probably wondering involves the Royal Rumble match and if everything still stays the same, including the winner of the match being Undertaker after that amazing mini match with Shawn Michaels to end it off. Unfortunately, it hurts me to say that Undertaker doesn't end up winning the match, but rather WWE would have actually booked John Cena to win the match instead. Obviously, I'm sure you're as disappointed as I am, but I'll explain my reasoning when we reach WrestleMania 23. Up next is the Smackdown exclusive pay-per-view No Way Out, where I think John Cena would have had a one-on-one match against Randy Orton. Now, this event was a bit weird considering that even though it was a Smackdown exclusive show, there were quite a bit of Raw superstars on the card, including the main event that had the two World Championship matches at WrestleMania 23 be put into a tag team match, which I guess explains why No Way Out 2007 ended up being the final brand exclusive pay-per-view, and all pay-per-views going forward until 2016 would have been dual branded. Unfortunately, that tag team match doesn't happen here due to the circumstances that have occurred in this timeline, such as John Cena winning the Royal Rumble match. Monday Night Raw's Randy Orton would challenge John Cena to a match where John Cena's WrestleMania title opportunity would be on the line, something Randy Orton did the year prior at No Way Out with Rey Mysterio, which resulted in him successfully getting that opportunity. Unfortunately for Orton, lightning doesn't strike twice, and that John Cena would keep his opportunity. No Way Out would end with John Cena choosing which championship he would challenge for at WrestleMania 23. Either Bobby Lashley with the ECW Championship, Batista with the World Heavyweight Championship, or Edge with the WWE Championship. All in which would have still been good potential matches for him had he not faced Shawn Michaels in the real timeline, but we can all admit that that Shawn Michaels match was probably one of, if not John Cena's best in his career. And the final pay-per-view being WrestleMania 23, where John Cena would challenge Edge for the WWE Championship. Had John Cena lost at Unforgiven 2006 and been sent to Smackdown, I do think that this switch would have only been temporary. John Cena was the face of the company, and Vince McMahon clearly wanted him to be on the flagship show. So for Cena to have gone back to Raw, that wasn't simply due to getting drafted, would have been to win the Royal Rumble match and win the World Championship that was exclusive to Raw. With Edge and John Cena's previous match at Unforgiven being a TLC match, I think a different stipulation to top it would have been inside the Hell in a Cell structure, marking the first time that we would have gotten these two in a singles match at WrestleMania, unlike the real timeline, resulting in John Cena defeating Edge and winning back the WWE Championship, thus allowing him to once again be a part of the Raw roster as he's the world champion of the brand. Plus, we would get rid of the Rated R Spinner Championship and revert back to the regular Spinner Championship that was introduced by John Cena himself.